Uh-huh. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. This is the Blaze the Lion podcast. I am your host, Blaze the Lion. Usually I would say Blaze the Machine, Blaze the Man on a Mission, Blaze the guy they talk about, but maybe we're gonna skip all that tonight. This is me with a cough. What's going on? This is episode 55. We are working. Those of you watching right now, we are live on YouTube, the Blaze the Line podcast. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a damn friend about the Blaze the Line podcast. Yes, indeed. If you're loving the movement, you want to get down with the movement, we have 3 tiers that you can share your chips, share your coins. From first tier, $1, second tier, $5, third tier, $10 monthly. And you get, I'm finally wearing the shirts. Blaze the Lion podcast apparel. All right, yes, indeed. Right to your front door. Special delivery. This month's theme, January. Is it obvious yet? You all saw last week. This month's theme in January is the DJs. So, last week, we had Ice Squad DJs, DJ Smoke and DJ Smooth. This week, well, I'll wait for the introduction. This week, we have a special guest. Next week, another DJ. And then the final week, we have a panel, all female, DJ panel, which is going to be really, really dope. Now, for those of you viewing this Blaze the Line podcast, and you're looking like, I think I know that guy. I think I know that name. I've heard that name. Wait, I'm gonna get into that introduction. We are also streaming. So every episode you see right here, the following day, the audio is available on all major streaming platforms. So that's your Google Podcast, your Apple Podcast, your Spotify, your Breaker, Radio One. All right. So if you don't really like the video, you don't want to see my face or my guest's face, and you want to listen to that audio in the car, on your ride to work, in the shower, whatever it is, do that. All right. So for episode 55, tonight's guest is someone who throws this up. Somebody from NYC, from Bronx, New York. This person here is also a heavy hitter. You've heard it. You know about that team. Strong team. This person here has rocked it at Summer Jam. Look at that background.
I wouldn't say that. Been there though.
Been there. There we go. I've yet to go. This person here is a man on a mission, is a follower of the Most High. Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
He has power. He has purpose. This person here is a man walking in his purpose. Bold, confident, yet still humble. We are talking about none other than Hot 97's own DJ Tony Tone. Welcome to the pod, my brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That was a good one. I ain't never had nobody introduce me like that one before, but that was good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. We are honored to have you here tonight. They're already dropping a couple comments. Yes. Female DJ panels coming soon. Fire, we got flames in the booth. Yes, indeed. So, tell us. Tell us a little bit, for those who may have never been, who've never had the privilege of going, tell us your journey growing up in New York City?
Wow. Wow. Um, y- all right. If you've never, New York is a special place, and I don't just say that because I live here, born and raised. But New York is different. It is extremely different from everywhere else. I've traveled, so I've seen the impact of when you tell people you're from New York, like their faces just it gets their eyes do something. You know what I'm saying? Their mouth do something. Like it's not just you could just say I'm from New York and you leave it there. Generally, it's gonna be followed up by where you're from in New York, and if you're coming from the city, it's like, oh, do you know about this? And do you know this person? And I know that person. And so New
Yeah.
York is a really different space. To really appreciate it, um, it takes a certain kind of people. Um, it's not laid back at all.
Mhm.
Your head is always on the swivel, um, because it's just fast paced. It's a really fast paced place, and some people like it and love it and can handle it, and some people it's too much. And I can understand that because you really can't let your guard down. It's whatever you're trying to do, it's probably 150 people trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. So there's always competitive, um, but it's adventurous and
Yeah,
it's home. That's the best thing. It's home.
there it is.
So yeah,
There it is. It's definitely changed over the years from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s. New
yeah,
York has always been a place that set trends,
hmm
whether it was styles or music or just slang. Even to this day, you have people still using slang that originated in New York from the 80s,
yeah.
from the 90s. Um, so they've definitely been on top. And if you want to argue that New York may or may not still have the crown regarding hip hop and the South may have it, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. It just depends on who you ask. You
Started
know,
here, so I don't care
absolutely.
what you say. It started here, so I don't care what the South, the West Coast, like we put it on the map. So you can say what you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I tell people, and I feel like an old head when I say this, but there's, I mean, in my history, and I haven't been around for that long, but in my history growing up, the golden era, 90s hip hop, I I don't foresee any greater time.
I just think '90s music in general,
Mm,
whether it was hip
hmm.
hop or R&B,
Yeah,
I think '80s '90s is untouchable when it comes to music. Like,
yeah,
and I mean just across the board. You just had some incredible people that were alive, that were in their purpose, in their prime, doing what they love to do, not for the money. It was because that was in them, and it just came out in the music. And so I think '80s and '90s, like you can still play those songs now, and people are still gonna rock with it. So I think the
yeah,
'80s and '90s is unmatched when it comes to music.
yeah,
I don't care where
yeah,
you live. I don't care where you live.
yeah. We see it now a little bit with the verses, and sometimes they'll have some of um, the older artists, your SWV, your
Yeah,
Bobby Brown,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
ah,
Yeah. Again,
those are the days.
look at the they're trying to get it done, but it may not get done. But the whole Diddy versus Jermaine Dupri, that whole thing, when you look at the catalog of music between those two people, the artists that they were associated with, and the music that they put out, it is incredible.
Yeah,
It is incredible. So,
yeah,
that's again the '80s, '90s is I don't know if anybody I don't know if we'll ever see that again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. So You also have a show on Hot 97, Street Glory.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Speak about that.
Wow. Shout out to Pastor Jamal. Actually, today's his birthday.
Mm,
And he was the first 2 years of the show. He was like my partner, my co-host in the show. And so, shout out to my church, Christian Culture Center. They sponsored it for the first 2 years.
mm,
My pastor, Pastor A.R. Bernard, that's my heart, man. That's my man of God right there, man. That's my mentor. Um, so they was a part of the show early, and things changed. Um, and February, Lord willing, will be 6 years. I'll be 6 years. Um,
nice.
um, and it's funny because uh, prior to Hot, I was playing on BLS and LIB and other spaces or whatever. And I just always wanted to be on the radio, right? So it was never in my wildest dreams did I think it would be this, that I
Mm,
would have my own show on the biggest hip hop platform in the world, representing the greatest family crew of DJs and other people. Never, this wasn't like necessarily something that I like was a kid and I strived for, right? It was just something that constantly walking with God, and God says, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this and
mm,
we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. And again, like I said, Lord willing, in February, it'll be 6 years. Um,
mm,
and I mean, God gets all the glory because it's unto Him. Uh, but just I'm humbled the fact that He would use me, a kid from the Bronx, to represent Him on such a enormous, enormous, enormous platform. And so each Sunday, I just try to make him smile and um, introduce the people to some kingdom music that they've never heard before that could change their life. So that's the mission, and I do my best to keep that the mission each and every Sunday. And shout out to all the great artists because I'm not playing my music, I'm playing their music. So
right.
I keep getting great music from great artists. Um, and as long as that keeps coming, I'll keep spending it. So yeah, I'm just it's one of those where I can't really put it into words because it's something that's never been done before.
Mm,
So I didn't even have a blueprint on how to um, navigate in that particular space or navigate, in that. There's nobody that's ever done that like that before. So who do I go to and ask for advice? I didn't have anybody. I don't have anybody. You know what I mean? So, but I have the Holy Spirit. I have God. I have Jesus. So, um, yeah, they'll tell me. And I got great, my program director, Prio. And again, I got great leadership as far as my heavy hitter brothers,
yeah.
Enough, Camilo, and the whole crew. So I don't want to act like I don't have anybody, but in reference to this type of situation where you got Christian music on a secular platform, on the biggest platform like that, it's like I remember going to them a few times and they was just like, well, Tone, we don't know the music, so we really don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, gee, thanks. But they gave me pointers on how to navigate in that space, and it helped
Yeah.
me. It helped me
Yeah.
tremendously. So, because radio is just different from what people may think it is. Like when you're on the other side, I used to hate commercials. I love commercials now because I know what they mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know what they mean. I didn't know what they meant before. I was like, I don't want to hear these commercials. Now I'm like, oh, we got commercials, great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You want to be
so
a
yeah,
sponsor? Let's go.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, um, man, I'm just honored, man, that he would use me in this capacity, man. So it's a blessing.
We have plans and we make plans and we if we have sight, if we have spiritual sight, we're able to see things. But many times I feel God laughs at our plans. Like, okay, that's
Hmm.
cute. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
cool.
Hmm.
But
Absolutely.
he or she, they have no idea the magnitude of how I'm gonna use them. And he won't tell us. So like faith, just
Nah,
keep
nah.
trusting.
That's it.
Don't even worry
That's
about it.
it.
And we end up in places and we look back. That's why it's important to pause and to look back, because if you just keep going, sometimes you miss it and you take things for
Yeah.
granted. So when
Yeah.
you're able to pause, you're like, wait, I'm here?
Yeah.
6 years ago, I didn't imagine I would have. 10 years ago, I was a totally different person. Who would have thought?
Absolutely.
So, hmm,
Absolutely.
hmm. So mentioning kingdom music, I want to put you on the spot right quick.
Okay.
Favorites. And if you can't think of a favorite, maybe top three Christian artists. It can be Christian hip hop, it can be anything. Contemporary.
Um. All right. One of my. I mean, he's like my bro. But he's like one of my favorites. That's Jonathan McReynolds.
Okay.
Um. That like I was again this 2021. I was able to go on tour with him and Molly. And we did a couple of dates, and that was just you know again, not planned, not well, not not. Well, it was a prayer, right? But it wasn't a prayer in reference to it being them. Like it was just a prayer. Oh, I would love to go on tour and blah blah blah. It's from my lips to God's heart. You know what I'm saying? And it was
Right.
on my heart to His heart. You know what I'm saying? And He answered it.
Mm.
So I would say Jonathan McReynolds is definitely one. Um, there are so many rappers. I mean, oh, okay. CC Winans is one of my favorites, and
Queen right
actually,
there.
oh my goodness. And uh, another voice that does it for me is Marvin Winans, and
Okay.
so BB as well, but Marvin Winans is another voice that does it for me. They're just, and again, there's just so many, but those are the three that just came off the top of my head that I'm like that really that I could just listen to their music all day, right?
Mm.
Um, but as far as rappers, there's just too many. There's literally just too many because um, they're super talented. Um, and what I love about the music that we have, the kingdom music we have now, there's just so many different styles.
Yeah.
Whereas I remember first coming out, I remember first, back in the early 2000s, there was just one sound, there was one style, there was, and that was Christian hip hop, right? Now, I mean, I can go from trap. There's just so many different ways I can go when it goes to Christian hip hop. So, and each person has their way of bringing it. So I couldn't even name a rapper. Like it wouldn't do justice to I'd be like, oh, I forgot so and so. Oh, I forgot so and so. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just go to name ones I name as far as as far as music.
Yeah. And it's changed. I remember I was listening to Christian hip hop in the mid 90s, mid to late 90s,
Mm,
when I was a kid. And um, in the early to mid 90s. And then I got away from there. I turned 18. I started to experience the streets and do all of that. And then I came back around and got back into Christian hip hop just the other day, maybe 5 years ago.
mm.
And I said, whoa,
Oh
it's a
yeah,
lot. A lot
oh
has
yeah.
changed. Back in the 90s, Christian hip hop was a bit back. They were a few years behind. So the samples they were using and the rap styles, you could tell, okay, this is maybe like 3, 5 years a bit back.
Be honest, just say it was corny because it was. It was whack. It was whack. It was corny.
I
It
mean,
was
there were a
whack.
few. There were a few that were
It
pretty
was
dope.
very, very few. Very, very few.
But overall, yeah, like it wasn't compare. If you compare Christian hip hop in the '90s to like Nas' first album or like the classics, like no, like there's no comparison at all, at all. But now I mean, the
Oh,
116 and KB and Bizzle and
it's
Lecrae and
it's so
F,
many. There's so many. There's so many.
Dayton, Bizzle.
There's
Ugh,
so many. There's
yeah,
so many. It's
yeah,
and you just naming the top, like you're naming like the ones that are part of labels and have the
right.
distribution. Like there's artists that they're not signed to no labels, none of that stuff. And when I tell you the stuff that I get, and I play it, because like I said, if it's good, I'm gonna play it. I'm not biased to that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, whoa, like who is this person? And like who's this person? And I'm like, yo, it's crazy. So I mean, shout out to all the people you name, like, cause they definitely putting out some heat. This last Lecrae and 1K Few project is bananas.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it's bananas. It's sick.
yeah,
It's sick. Andy
yeah.
Mineo's last project is sick. Like this, again, the music, it makes my job so easy. Literally,
Hmm.
like I don't have to convince anybody. I'm just like, oh, just give me a shot. I'll show you what it is. And depending on where I'm at, I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Oh, you wanna go that
Yeah.
way? Okay, we go that way. And so I love the diversity that we have now. Like it's just it makes my job so much easier. It really
Hmm.
does. Really does.
With the music, is there a major change or major shift from when you first started 6 years ago till now?
On on radio,
Yeah.
um, it's gotten better. And
Okay.
when I say better, I'll just say there's more artists giving more quality music, right?
Mm.
Whereas back then you had this certain artist that was really giving the quality of music, right? But now, like, there's just so many more artists that are submitting quality music. Now, again, I still get some stuff that I'm like, yeah, bro, you just want to be on the radio, but this ain't it. It ain't gonna happen, right? I still get some stuff like that, but for the most part, um, it's just like there's more artists submitting quality music, and I mean lyrically, sonically, production wise, you know. So yeah, this is like you know, I'm constantly each week I can play new music literally like each week because the submissions that I'm getting are that good that each week I can drop something new. Like I never have to repeat, I never have to worry about what I'm playing ever.
As you say that, how tedious or annoying, and you can be real, you can keep it a buck on here. How tedious or annoying sometimes is that submission process? Like how much requests and people want the hookup and favors and music do you get, especially being on a station like Hot 97? And friends and my cousin can rap and my
Oh man.
my daughter can sing and
Um, it's weekly. It's weekly. I get it. I get it. If it wasn't me, it would be somebody else, right? So that's
Mhm.
why I try not to make it personal. Because their whole thing is they just want to go on the radio. They can care less who plays their song, right?
Right,
Some of the stuff I get don't even be Christian music, and I've had to even like tell those have you listened to my show?
right.
Do you know what the theme of my show is? And I could it's like they don't even pay that. They just see the logo. They just see Hot 97 and they're like, yo, I want to get my record played on the radio. And I'm like, dude, you're cursing in your song. Like your song has nothing to do with what my purpose is. Like it has nothing to do about my show. Um, so you get that. Sometimes you know the annoying thing for me, I would say, is when people DM you, right? Um, and they don't even formally introduce themselves to you. They're just sending you links to click on, and I'm like, and why would I want to just? I don't even know you. Like I have no idea who you are. and you just expect me to just click on the link and like what am I supposed to do? I'm a DJ, so what am I even supposed to do with your link? Like, so I mean, there's some aspects of it that's like annoying,
Yeah.
um, but it comes with the territory, right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
can't get super annoyed and you can't get super frustrated because that's the position that you're in. And so,
Absolutely.
you just deal with it, right? You just, you deal with it, the good with the bad, right? And so, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, and if I don't feel like dealing with it for that day, I just was like, delete, delete, delete. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm not in the mood, so,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, so but it's a give and take because again, sometimes you'll get people they come at they approach it properly, and their submissions are good too. That's the thing that I really like about sometimes, where you've never heard of a person before. Like I've never heard, I didn't even know they was on a map, and they'll DM you and they'll do it respectfully, and they say, can I submit some music to you? They'll submit it, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, yo, this is fire right here. Like this is crazy,
Mm.
right? And so, so again, you balance that with the people you like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it comes with the territory.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so I do music. So I guess people they come on my IG. I don't even, and my label will even say this about me that I don't even promote my music.
Mm.
I'm too busy promoting me as a life coach, me into fitness as a personal trainer, a speaker, and all these other things. And it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm also signed to a label and I do hip hop and we don't curse in our music and blah blah blah. So I'll get emails sometimes or DMs, no introduction, and it'll be a producer giving me 6 beats just to listen to and to vibe to. And I'm like, I don't even know if this is spam. I don't even want to
Mm.
open it because I
Right,
don't know
right,
who it's
right,
from or
right, right,
nothing.
right. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if
You,
nothing else, at least introduce, at least have a name at the bottom
yeah, yeah.
and a website or something. Right? So yeah,
Comes with the
but
territory.
that's they feel entitled, and that's the era that we're in right now, where
Right,
they
right.
feel like, well, I'm just so dope. I don't need to introduce myself. I don't need to, to show you respect or to pay homage or like
Okay,
we are from the old school.
okay.
I mean, having respect is huge.
Goes a long way.
Yeah.
Goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Even for this show, there have been people who some would deem as famous or whatever, and they've never met me. I've never seen them in person. And just my approach, well, okay, not just my approach. God also ordains my steps, absolutely.
Hmm.
But I present it with respect. I don't bother. I don't DM people every day and bug them and harass them. I'm
Right.
respectfully, and people are like, I was just in the studio yesterday with Jay Z or with Puff or whoever, and because of my approach, they're like, sure, yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, we'll chat. We'll whatever, whatever. So having respect, man, goes a long way. And
Absolutely.
this could even go left where you even have some friends who you don't hear from all pandemic. You haven't heard from, and then all of a sudden they call you or they text you, "Hey, how's life? How's the family?" And you talking and you chopping it up, and then at the end they go, hey, so I started this business and like, thought you was really checking up on me. That was a sales pitch, bro. Like, come on.
You know the deal.
Yep. Yeah. Like if that's your goal, maybe do the sales pitch like the next day
Right.
or the next week. Don't, in the same any case. It's all good. It is what it is. All right. So my throat is not happy today. Sorry. All right. So I want to take it back, way back, way back, way back. DJing. Last week we spoke to our DJs Smooth and Smoke about how they got started, and they both shared about the dues that they had to pay, from carrying speakers and carrying crates and setting up, and the wiring and getting burned CDs and all these things. How did you start? Did you fall into it? Did you chase after it? Was it hard work? What was that like?
um, all right, so I started when I was 12. Um, and I fell in love with it. Well, again, you'll know a little bit about this. We used to have park jams. So the DJ would come, bring his stuff outside, set up the speakers, equipment, and they rope off the area and they play music, throughout the night. And so we had a neighborhood DJ named JP, who was, one of those DJs who would come out every so often and spin. And I'm gonna try to condense this to the shortest version part of it as I can. So after several times of going out, boom, 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 um, he let me actually get on the set for like, um, you know, to me it felt like an hour. It probably might have been like 5 minutes or whatever the case may be. But I got a chance to get behind the ropes, get on the set. After that, it was done. I was a wrap. That was it. I felt
Mhm.
that's what I wanted to do. Plus, my cousin was part of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. His name is Disco B. So,
Oh.
yeah. So I've had uh, I've had that those mod those people and I grew up around my family, so I had those people, those influences around me. But after getting on that set for, again, probably like 5 minutes, maybe not even that long, that was it. That was it. I was
Mm,
hooked. And so my
mm,
parents got me a set, when I was 12, and that's all I did. That's literally all. Like, if I wasn't playing music, I was on the basketball court, chasing girls, doing drugs. But it was music. It was music, 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 music. And
mm,
after a while, I started to realize that God had gave me a gift, but I didn't know it was God. I didn't know it was any of that stuff. I just knew I was good. People would tell me I was good, and I just kept, going from there, practicing and all that stuff. And so, never realizing why. I just loved it. It was part of me. Um, and now I know why. Because me and him, we had a couple of conversations, a couple of encounters, and so, and that's what kind of set me. I mean, obviously years later, but that's what set me on this journey, which is like over 20 years now, doing Christian hip hop and stuff like that. But yeah, man,
mm.
12. I'll never forget it. I close my eyes. I'm 12 again behind them ropes, man. So
Huh,
that's it. That was it.
huh. The the boldness, um, to be ready at 12 years old to rock. Um, man, that's staying ready.
I, 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 I You get it. You only get who's that? Eminem said you only get one shot.
Yeah,
You only get one shot, and so I took it, man. I took it, and
yeah.
that was it. That was it for me. I
Hmm,
never looked back from that.
hmm.
I might not have been good at other stuff, but uh, music is, and again, that's a gift from God. God has given me that gift, and so it's an honor to give it back to Him. And to make him smile. Hopefully he's dancing too. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes,
but he gave me the gift. I didn't know why I had it. Why he allowed me to be with how people say I'm good. Like I didn't know why. Um, but because back then I wasn't playing Christian music,
right, right,
so
right.
so yeah, it wasn't I wasn't praising him with the music back then with the skills and the talents. It wasn't that so but once we straighten that out, then it's like okay, I got it.
Hmm. They say that's the Bronx in your blood.
Probably, probably, probably. I tell you, New Yorkers, we different.
Yeah,
We different.
yeah.
We definitely different.
We, and I say we just because a lot of people in my circle are from New York. From my childhood best friends to my son's mom, I always end up in New York. I always end up right back there doing business in New York or something. So I can't stay away. It seems. Um, hmm. So now that we have more of the pieces, describe a little bit how challenging or what that transition was like from a DJ playing secular music, and then when you felt that call in your life and you felt that switch. Was that an easy transition or was it pretty
No,
tough?
it was uh it was tough. It was tough in the sense of um because you don't know, right? You don't know what you're doing really, right? Like I said, like I didn't know anybody else that was doing what I was doing, right? So I had an encounter with the Lord back in like 99 2000. um, um, and at that encounter, um, I was giving him everything. Like there was no holding back. It was like whatever you tell me to do, I'll do it. Like I'll even give up playing music, right? And he said, I don't want you to give up playing music. I just want you to play for me. And I'm
Mm,
like, I'm like, I didn't see. I didn't grow up in the church either. So um, I was like, play for you. Like, how do you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is pre-Serato. This is before laptops, and this is none of that stuff. I'm still got crates in my
yeah.
office. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, I still got my 1200s. Like, there's none of that stuff, right? And I'm like, play for. I'm like, and again, I'm gonna give you the condensed version. So I just was like, okay, I don't know what that means. So my introduction into it was I used to at the time the church that I was going to, I used to take the pastor's sermons and mix them with hip hop beats
Oh,
because I was trying to figure it out. I didn't have gospel music. I,
yeah.
I didn't I didn't know any of that stuff. Again, I didn't go. I wasn't in the church like that, so I didn't know any of that stuff. And so
Huh.
that began the journey. And so then I started meeting people, and then Serato wasn't even the first digital software that came out. Final Scratch was. So I got Final Scratch, and now I'm DJing with my turntables and blah blah blah. And so I'm like, oh okay. And I never went to CDs. I never mixed CDs. Um, so I never knew what that experience was. But all the gospel music was on CDs. So now I had to convert all of the CDs of the gospel music I was getting into MP3s so I can play them. And
Mm,
then Serato comes out, and then I switched from Final Scratch to Serato. But then there was also a period of time. I can't remember the exact years, but it was at least maybe 5 years. Um, maybe at least a 5 year period where I couldn't listen to secular. He wouldn't let me listen to secular music. Like I couldn't listen to the radio. I couldn't listen to secular music. I couldn't play secular music. Like it was like a 5 year period where it was I didn't touch it. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I didn't know what was going on.
mm,
And it was because it still had a pull on me. There was still that like if somebody would have said, "Tone, I want you to come do this party," um, and it was a secular event, I would have, I would have. So he was like, "Don't listen to any of it. Like, don't touch it. Don't like." It was
mm,
at least maybe I guess like 5 years.
mm.
It was a long time. Um, and I at the time I didn't understand it, but then after I came out of it, I understood it because it had a pull. And
Yeah.
so he wanted to get that out of me so that I wouldn't be double-minded or doing this and then doing that and trying to be this and trying to like it. So once we got past that, then he released me and he was like, okay, you can play it now, but it didn't have the same kind of I didn't have a desire to play it. Like I could do parties now. And it's cool, but I'm not like, oh my God. Like I don't have a. That's why I don't play to like some stuff. I don't have a desire to play that stuff. does nothing for me. I got
Mm.
my heavy hitter brothers. That's what they do. Let them play that. You know what I'm saying? So I know what I'm supposed to do, and so I guess that was the toughest part of it, um, because I had nobody to go to.
Yeah.
I had nobody I can call up and be like, "Hey, man, how did you do it? What was your process?" Like who? Like I had nobody. It was just me and God,
You have to
and
learn as you
so
go.
it was just me and him. And so, but then I started meeting other Christian DJs. My man Wade O, New Man,
Mm-hmm.
just other Christian DJs. So then I knew it wasn't just me, right? Um, but it's still, but again, the DJ culture itself is competitive. So you don't go to the next DJ and ask him how he's doing what he's doing. Like you just don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, you're not gonna be better than me. I'm gonna be the best version of me. You know what I'm saying? So it's yeah. So it was tough until I really understood, who I was, because I didn't even tell you the parts where, especially back then, where the churches didn't even let us come in and play in the churches.
Mm.
Like they was considering devil's music. They was like, "You're not bringing that hip hop in here."
Mm.
Like they was like, "No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that." Like
Mm.
they was like, "No, we not." So there was no, yeah, come like now. There was no, oh yeah, come and play in our church, and there was none of that going on. They was like, "Y'all not playing that up in here."
Mm.
So
Mm.
you had to create events, and I mean, it was just so. And then here you thinking like you doing the Lord's work, and you thinking the church is going to be the one that's going to receive you and be like, yeah, yeah, man. Them people were like, nah, y'all ain't doing that up in here. Like we don't want it. It ain't happening. Until they started to real some of them. And again, I'm not saying every church. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
stereotype every church, but so then it's like now it's like, well, not now, but even before now, they will realize, oh, wow, you guys are bringing in a lot of people, and oh, the young people are really digging this, and oh, wow, and oh, you charging so then it's like, oh yeah, you can have your event here, and I mean, so it was tough. It was tough. It was tough. Yeah.
So basically, you're the blueprint.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying what I went through. I ain't had nobody. That's all I'm saying. Like it was nobody for me to follow. I don't know if
I
I'm the
mean,
blueprint or
if
not.
you had to take your pastor's sermons and remix, I mean, that's some creativity right there.
I had to figure it out. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't. I didn't have no music. I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't. I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't. I didn't. I just know what I heard,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was like play. Like, what does that mean? I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't know. So I'm just trying to figure. I was just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Huh. Man, like I commend you on your bravery, man, and for your obedience because when you feel that call to radically change and to shift your life, it's sacrifice, and those around you are like, what are you doing?
I've been through some stuff, man. I've been through some stuff. Yeah,
That's what's
a lot of
up. I love.
sacrifice.
Yes, yes, yes. All for the purpose. So, do you know what time it is?
I know you said you got something that I got to do, but okay, I guess
Yes,
it's time. I guess it's time.
it is color time. Color time. Color time. I'm working on a little song for that.
Okay.
So, this is color time. All right. The segment of the show where we get into colors. So, how it goes is yes, I won't forget purple. I, the host, will name various colors. And for my featured guests, for each color I name, you will share what comes to mind. There is no right or wrong answer. So your answer could be short and concise. It could be a experience or a story. It could be spiritual, metaphoric, really deep. It could be logical. It could be funny. There is no right or wrong answer. For example, I use this example often because it's very simple and relatable. I may say, okay, your color is brown. One guest might say, chocolate,
Hmm.
the color of my skin. Another guest might say, dog poop. Just depends. Whatever answer you say is the right answer. All right.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No, but I will be.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. Color number one. Let's go with black.
People.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Let's go with midnight blue.
I don't know what shade midnight blue is. Blue is like one of my favorite colors, but I know there's various shades. Obviously, midnight blue. But I would go Yankees.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. Third color. Let's go with silver.
Hmm. Coins,
Okay.
money,
Okay.
lining, silver lining.
That's what I use. Yeah, when they asked me about silver a few episodes ago. Silver lining. Yep. All right. Color number four. Let's go with white.
Jesus.
Hmm. Hmm. You want to elaborate or no?
Um,
Because that can be taken many
his
ways.
his his holiness, um, um, his purity, um, the love of who he is, that he could wash away any situation and make it as pure as and white as snow.
Hmm. Powerful. Okay. Next color. Similar color. Let's go with platinum.
Hmm. Um, I don't know why this word came to me, but success. I'm not sure why. I really
Okay.
don't. I don't have no platinum plaque, so but for whatever reason, it just came to me. I don't know why.
Okay. All right, we got two more colors.
Okay.
Here we go. We have to say fire engine red.
Blood,
Hmm.
um, love, um, yeah, blood and love.
Okay. Those are very necessary words associated with red. All right. They keep begging me in the chat to say this color. So here we go. Purple.
Royalty.
Hmm. Purple and royalty seems to be very commonly associated with purple. Probably 7 of every 10 guests. Hmm. Okay. I'm going to just for kicks add one more color,
Okay.
and you can't say the words that I mentioned. Doodoo brown.
Oh, color brown. Um, I don't know about boots came to my mind. Um, um, brown boots. Yeah.
That's the New Yorker in you.
I guess. I don't know. I guess. I guess. Tim's ain't brown. Tim's are like beige, but um, I don't know why. Boots was the first thing that came to my mind when I think of the color brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you have it. You survived color time. Some people get overwhelmed with anxiety in color time. Some people fall out.
Really?
So, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And it's certain popular colors that I love, and for some people it brings them sadness and gloom, and so
Wow.
you just
Wow.
never know. There have been colors that I've said, like for purple, you said royalty. I've had one person say like a funeral, their their
Mm,
mom's funeral or something like that.
mm.
So a very sad and gloomy time. So
I mean, us humans
geez.
are some interesting people, man.
Yeah.
So, um, and that's I guess that's one of the things I've learned and continue to learn in life um, is to try and appreciate the diversity in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we can get so locked into whether it's stereotypes or um, what we view as normal. Um, thank you, Lord. But just like the fish in the ocean, there's so many different types of fish in the ocean. Some that we see, some that live way beneath the ability for us to even go down as humans, but they're fish. Um, and so there's this that vast diversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just still I'm learning to try. Again, I don't always do a good job, but to try to just appreciate the diversity in humanity and not just be so judgmental and so um, just because listen, when God, we have no idea his plan and the way he sees what he created. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, so I just try to see it from a bigger perspective versus my narrow-minded, my narrow-mindedness.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. We like for instance, New Yorkers have their way of life, have their core beliefs, and then you go to the Caribbean and it's very different. It's very
yeah, yeah,
laid back,
yeah,
and
yeah.
not saying one is better than the other. It's different, but
Different.
I
It's
feel
different. Yeah.
diversity, the unification of diversity is powerful,
Hmm.
and we
Hmm.
bash each other because you don't see it how I see it. How could you see it how I see it? You're a totally different person. You grew up in a
Right.
totally different area. Your parents raised. So I appreciate, even when it comes to like religion and different religions, I've learned so many things from people who believe other things than me. And you just see that, man, that makes sense. So I may not believe exactly what you believe,
Right.
but
Right.
I
Right.
get it. But I can
Right. Right.
appreciate why you
Right.
believe what you believe,
Right.
instead of fighting each other for who'd you vote for,
Right.
the vax and the unvax, the black, like
Right.
so many
Right.
things that we just bash each other when it's like, no, there's power when we are together and united.
Well,
So
let me, if I may, let me share. Um, if we understand the big picture, how God, just you know, there's power in agreement, right? And the enemy's job is to divide and conquer,
mhm,
right? So what so certain relationships are under attack, right? Because if I can divide, then I can conquer.
yeah,
But if we understand that there's power in agreement, and we understand that God is in the power of agreement. Where two or three are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst, right? When we can
Mm-hmm.
agree, he says that, you know what I'm saying? When we can agree on a thing, you know what I'm saying? More than likely that thing is gonna happen, right? Especially if it's in his will.
Mm-hmm.
And you understand that, you work more towards that. Um, but it's again, you know, people have to make that decision within themselves, to be secure within themselves. Because you know, when you know who you are and you're secure within yourself, then you don't mind listening to someone else's viewpoint. That doesn't mean you agree. Listening
Right.
doesn't mean you agree with that person. It just means that you're willing to listen to them. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to agree. You know, it doesn't take you to just because you're sitting there quiet doesn't mean you agree. It just means that you're listening. That means you're giving that person an opportunity to express themselves. That's all it means, right? And if we can do more of that, then we can probably come to an agreement. Um, One of the things that I've learned, from the many things I've learned from my pastor, that's why I love the man so much, is when you're having a conversation with someone, and let's just say there's some things you disagree on, right? And then you decide to have that conversation. Instead of starting out with what you don't agree on, start with what you do agree on. So if there's something that you both agree on, start there. Because eventually you will get to the point that you don't disagree. But if you start where you don't disagree, it's very hard to get to where you do agree. So you start with where what you do agree on. Well, we agree about this, and we agree about this, and we agree about this. It brings the temperature down. It,
Yeah.
it probably builds the communication in a stronger way, the listening, all of that. And so I learned that from him. Um, and so I tried my best to put those things into practice because you can know something and not do it. That doesn't mean it's going, just because you know it, just because you got a bottle of medicine on your on your counter doesn't mean you're gonna get better. You got to take it. So,
Yeah.
so you got to
Yeah.
apply it. So,
Yeah.
but that's one of the many things that I've learned from him. It's like, and if we can do that, we could, things could, you work more than not work.
Yeah. I was in um, a meeting last month through Toastmasters. Shout out to Toastmasters, and they did a exercise. Simple exercise. They had us get into groups of four, and they said you're going to create. You're making plans for a an event like a party or something like that, and you all have to share your ideas. However, every time you share an idea within your group, you have to start with the word but.
Mm,
So, hey, I want to start a party. We need plates. And then the next person would say, but we also need blah, blah, blah. But, and we did that for a few minutes and we kept sharing our ideas, starting with but. After that was complete, the speaker had us do the exercise again, but this time she said, instead of using but, now start with the word and.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
And it changed the temperature, it changed the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
energy,
yeah,
right? Because,
yeah.
but I tend to negate what you're saying, like
Right,
it's
it's
not
combative.
of value, right? When
Right,
I say
right.
and, I'm including
Agreeing,
what you're.
agree. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow. Okay, that was
So I
good.
said, man, words are powerful. Like even just the
Absolutely,
first word that you use to start something,
absolutely.
already that person is either, oh, I appreciate that, or I ain't trying to hear what they saying because, yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Nice.
In the chat, people are going off, man. Shout out to Giselle. Diversity, what you said. Diversity, there's diversity in humanity. Shout out to Star Child Social, one of our sponsors. Uh-huh. Shout out to Bruce Butler. Thanks for the
Ah, my
cash,
man
Blaze.
Bruce. Oh man Max.
Here we go. Here we go. We got Sue. Back to those two main words. People lack understanding and empathy. Indeed, indeed. They are loving your energy, man. Great
Thank you.
message.
Thank you.
Love that. 100%. Great message indeed. Because knowledge is power only if you apply it. Yeah. Yeah. You can have all the knowledge if you ain't putting it into use. If you haven't changed anything, you got a bookshelf, but but
It's because you got a library, don't make you smart.
yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome. So, in closing, I got two more questions for you here.
Okay.
First of all, next question rather. Gems. I am big on having guests on this podcast that have found their purpose and that are walking in their purpose. So for others who maybe want to get in the music biz, who maybe can DJ a little bit, they got a couple of skills, or just in general want to pursue anything great, any gems, any advice for those such people?
Uh, if you don't know the Lord Jesus, get to know him, accept him and know him, right? Um, because you can think you know what will make you happy
Mm,
and think you know what your purpose is. Only the one who created you for a purpose knows what that purpose is.
mm,
And once you find out what that purpose is, everything else makes sense. And it ain't money because your purpose is not built around money. And so now money can come from, can come from your purpose. And you know um I have a life philosophy, and it's life is built is basically relationships and access. The stronger your relationships, the greater your access. And just the so your relationship with Jesus gets you access into heaven. It gets you access to God, brings the Holy Spirit into you so that you have access to the Holy Spirit. That's based upon your relationship with Jesus. That's the greatest relationship you can have, right? And then you look at other relationships that you would have with people. Um, the stronger the relationship, again, greater the access. Um, but in reference to um, to what I said is um, know God, and I don't say know him just so that you can so he can tell you. Then that's manipulation, and he probably ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't stupid. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? But if a person is um, sincere, you know, I say give a sincere yes. A sincere yes is a head and a heart yes,
mm,
right? Sometimes a person will give a yes, it'll just be a head yes, or they'll give a heart yes, an emotional yes, right? But when you give a sincere yes, that means your emotions and your thought process is in agreement, right? And that means that your yes, you're gonna hold yourself to that yes. That's giving your word. I've given you my word. You know what I'm saying? And once you give your word to God, that's the greatest thing you can do. Because like I said, I couldn't think of this wasn't on my what they call it vision board,
mhm,
right? Did I want to be on the radio? Yes. Yeah, I did. Did I think it was going to be at this capacity? No.
mm, mm,
No, I didn't. I didn't see it. I just know I just wanted to be on the radio. And me wanting to be on the radio was not for me well, when I was honest with myself about why I wanted to be on the radio,
mm,
then things really started to happen
mm,
because the 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 flesh in me wanted to be on the radio. So look at me, I'm on the radio. And God was like, well, we ain't doing that. That's all about you.
Mm-hmm.
How do I don't get no glory out of that. So when I got honest with myself about why I wanted to be on the radio, and again, I was like, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, you're right. And then it was like, okay, all right, I don't want this to be about me. Let me,
Yeah.
I'm in your purpose. I'm doing what boom, boom. And then he's like, now I can work with that. Now I'm dealing with honesty. I'm not dealing with deceit. So now I can work with that. And then look what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Look what he did, and look what he's doing. I just think we just need to be honest with ourselves. Like, be honest with yourself. Be honest with God, because it's not you could lie to him and he's like he don't know.
Right.
But then be honest with yourself. And it's okay when you fall short. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a surprise to him, right? But be honest with yourself, and then be honest with people, and so that would be. I mean, I know that was a lot, but
No,
that
no,
would
no. It was,
that would be if and that's if you're serious, right? Because you never know how long it's going to take for the things to really kick in, for the divine to kick in, right? Now, again, do you got work to do? Absolutely. You're going to constantly work on yourself. You're going to constantly work on your craft. Like I said, I knew from an early age I was good at playing music. I just didn't know why. And when I was willing to give it up and not hold on to it and still do what I wanted to do with it, that's when he told me, he was like, no, I don't want you to give it up. I just want you to play for me. Again, I didn't know what it meant, but I was willing to give it up. I was willing to do whatever he said. If he would have said, go sell hot dogs on the corner, I would have went and sold hot dogs on the corner. I gave him everything. I gave him all of me, a sincere yes, and I didn't waver.
mm.
I didn't. Oh, this thing ain't working. These church folk get on my last nerve. They don't want to let us come in and play. Boom, 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 boom. This ain't working. This music is whack. I didn't, because I gave him my word. So I couldn't give up. Give
And
up
that
and
would
do
have been
what?
easy to do.
Absolutely.
It would have been easy to
Absolutely.
complain and do all, yeah.
Absolutely. You know how many rappers I know from back then who don't rap no more? They stopped rapping, like, and just started doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, it would be easy to say, this ain't working. I ain't getting no money. I ain't getting paid. Nobody know me. Man, 2 years before, oh man, 2 years before Street Glory, God told me uh, there was two radio shows I was doing on the internet. Um, One was from Jesus Beats. I think that's Hot 316. And my man Andre, I think was like C1 Radio. I think that was his show. Um, for 2 years, 2 years, he told me to do their radio shows. They didn't pay. I didn't get paid.
Mm.
I think they didn't pay me. So, but every week, I was sending my shows faithfully every week. Two
Mm.
years,
Mm.
2 years, and I didn't want to do it because I had already did a bunch of internet radio stations before. They wasn't the first two. I had been did that stuff before. So I was like,
Right.
I don't want to do this no more. I was like, I don't. I'm like, come on, man. I don't want. But it was a test.
Yeah.
Would I be faithful in what he asked me to do for 2 years? And even after I started doing Street Glory, I was doing it a little bit as well. But then I told him, I was like, bro, I can't. Like, it wasn't that I didn't want to, it was that I couldn't, because it was like I got YouTube, and then I'm trying to do this, and I'm like, I couldn't. So I told him, I was like, I can't. Not that I didn't want to, not that I'm big time now, because it wasn't. It was like the workload was just getting too much. I can't. And they understood. But again, for 2 years, ask them, they'll tell you 2 years. They didn't pay me.
Mm.
They didn't pay me. But God was like, okay, if I can trust you with this and you can be faithful with this, then what I got for you, I know you'll do it. There won't even be a question whether you'll do it or not. I know you'll do it, and I didn't see it coming. But those are the for me to say that that's going to be for everybody. I don't know. I ain't God. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, right.
I wouldn't even play myself and say, that's the blueprint for everybody else. I don't know. I'm just saying that that was my journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, so no, it wasn't easy. Um, Again, there's a whole lot of other side to my personal life that some people know, some people don't know, right? Did it, you know, but at the end of the day, well done is what I want to hear.
My good and
So
faithful servant. Yeah.
that's my son, you my boy. Like you did what I asked you to do.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, will it cost you? Absolutely. It's gonna cost you flesh a whole lot,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, so that's how I would that's how I would answer that question.
Hmm. Woo. That was jam packed right there. That was gem after gem right there, man. Yes. In 2015, so I grew up in the church.
Mm,
I was in the church from young, and some would say it backfired because I was in the church from probably age 7 or 8.
mm.
Stayed in the church, and then when I got to 18, I was like, all right, yeah, this is cool,
Spread your
but
wings.
now
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
legal. Yeah, let me experience, and I did all the stuff and more that I wanted to do, right? And I lost God's voice and all that. However, fast forward to 2015 when God told me, listen, your purpose is to realize that it's not about you.
Mhm,
What you mean it's not about? And I was like, no, but branding, and I'm a brand, and I'm a name, and blah, 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 and followers, and people come into my classes. And it was like, the sooner you realize that it's not about you.
mhm,
And I didn't fully grasp it then in 2015. Um, but I know now.
mhm,
I know exactly. And the more sometimes I backslide in the fact where I focus on me,
mhm,
and that's when I start overthinking. And that's when I start to get stressed out. Oh, things aren't going according to my plan and blah, blah, blah. The minute I say, wait a minute, but my purpose is to impact lives.
mhm,
It's not about me, it's about them. Once I get back in alignment with that,
mhm, mhm,
everything fits.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. In the chat, we have Sasha. Well, that's confirmation for me. And in the Bible, for your obedience, Luke 16:10. If you are faithful in the little, I will give you much. Hey, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I kind of don't even want to go on to the last question because I feel right. This energy right here. I was bringing you on for you to bless people, and I'm like so blessed right now, man. I'm so touched
Amen. Praise God.
by your energy and by your story, man. So, ooh, all right. Final question is actually a two-part question.
Okay.
Um, so how can people get in contact with you if you want them to get in contact with you? And then second part is share what you have going on from your radio show to any events that are upcoming or anything like that.
Well, I have a website, djtoningtone.com. So that would, it's not private, it's public. It's public. So there's email addresses, depending on what the person is trying to contact me for, whether it's to book me for an event, submit music or whatever. So DJTonyTone.com. Um, as far as I do a skating rink here in New York every first Friday. I've been doing that for over 12 years. I'm honored that God would allow me to be a part of that. And so
Mm,
we're getting ready to expand that now. So I'm working with them to really try to get it back to where it used to be pre-COVID. Because I mean we've had it. I've had it, well, not me, but 350, 500 people. You know what I'm saying? Where so we're just trying to build that back up to where it was. Um, um, I'm trying to have some talks with some people um, to hopefully do some more shows somewhere, um, if that's the Lord's will. Again, that'll be something I want to do,
okay.
if it's in His will. So that so there's some hopefully that's some things that's on the table. Um, I would like to. I don't know if I have the time at this point, but I used to act back in the days. I used to model. I used to do a lot of different stuff. So um, I would love, and I guess you're just getting an exclusive because this has just been recent that comes back to me. Um, and I've been watching a lot of Netflix lately, some series and stuff like that on Netflix, and so um, I would love to get back into acting and maybe do some TV stuff. Um,
Mm,
um, if it's again if it's his will. It's been a minute, man, since I've done that. Um, so that would be the next exciting challenge for me, um, to kind of get me nervous again about doing something. Not to say that I'm not
mm.
nervous about what I'm doing now, but just it would be different. It'd be new, right? Because I
Yeah.
haven't done it in so long, and so um, I think that would be cool, right? As long as it's within, as long as it makes sense, right? Like I ain't trying to be no gangster. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be, I ain't trying to play no role that I gotta be repenting for. You know what I mean? Like so, so I don't need none of that stuff. But some cameo appearances. Me being who I am, a DJ or whatever case, be a Christian DJ. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. So um, yeah, I mean, let's see what, if it happens, you'll be able to say this is where the first time Tone mentioned that. So,
Hmm.
uh,
January
let's
11th,
see.
2022.
So let's see if that's the Lord, if that's in his plan. But I think that would be one of the things that I would like to do, that I haven't, really gotten into.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We had in season 2 of the podcast in August of last year, our theme was the arts, and we had some actors and actresses up here. We had Sakai Maduro on here, and we had Fire Creek Entertainment uh, on here. And then last month, our theme was models and fashion, and we had a whole panel of tons of models and people in the fashion industry. So you just never know. Again, our steps are ordered, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Our
we'll
steps are
see.
ordered,
We'll
and
see.
right place, right timing. You know, but you speaking it out,
I put it out there,
you're
right?
giving legs to it. So
I put it out there. So let's see what happens.
yeah. Um, I just feel led to share with you that in this short time you've, and I know we haven't even had a chance to dive into a lot of your personal life, and I
Mm,
know you have a testimony. Just from what you have shared here, you have already changed lives. You have already
mm,
made a impact, and you've planted seeds, timely seeds, into people's hearts that were very necessary, that they needed. And the thing about the internet and podcasts and stuff is that we keep planting seeds. It keeps
mm.
going on. So they can listen to
Right.
this replay they can hear the audio and still get that word and still get the message. So you are nowhere near done. There is so much more for you to do. And you haven't changed. You haven't been obedient for rewards or for accolades. Just know that there's so much more in store, and you will be placed upwards because you walk in humility. So the meek shall inherit
Thank
the
you.
earth. So there's power in being humble, and there's power in being obedient to the world. It doesn't make sense. Why
Right.
are you so humble? Why are you beating? Why are you doing that? Like we're all doing this. So to with the naked eye, it doesn't make sense, but there's power. There's supernatural power in walking with humility and being patient. So you'll see. We'll
Wow.
see what
Amen.
God has in store for you, man. So
Amen.
yes,
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
big blessings, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here was episode 55, but none other than DJ Tony Tone. Stay tuned for next week. We'll have on here DJ. Well, you guys will see. And then we have our all female panel. Moving forward for this season 3, we have other monthly themes like athletes coming up. We have book authors coming up. And we have a whole month dedicated to mental health, which is so necessary. We getting our spirit right here. And that spirit must be in alignment with our brain, man, with our thoughts. You can have all the faith that you want. If you're constantly playing those messages that you're unworthy, that you don't deserve it, that you'll never excel, it's a big circle and it's a big cycle, man. So
Yeah.
here is a platform for guests to showcase their talents and their gifts, to share their story, and ultimately, doing this, we change the world. Not saying you need a million viewers, but each one, each one reach one. So in this, you all play a vital role. So to all my listeners, to all my subscribers, I want to say thank you. Feel free to tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this message, share this podcast, episode 55, whether on YouTube or streaming on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, so on and so forth. Again, Tone, man, much love, my brother. Thank you again for answering the call, man.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Definitely,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
definitely. This was the Blaze the Lion podcast. As I always say, peace and love.